Oh man, is it happening? Is it going on? Are we here? Is this for real? Do you see me? Do you hear me? Do you get what's going on the screen? I'm not entirely sure. Everyone's here to see me. We're going out to make the show. Let me hit refresh and see if it appears invisibly, because you know I'm gonna say, welcome to the show, y'all. That's right, that's me. 3D here to change your perspective. Let me shoot. Boom. Alright, that means we are, well, we should be live. I don't see what I'm looking for. There we go. Alright, on my bad. Okay, so I'm just realizing my stuff's on the wrong side. There we go. Ooh, hello. We got a new setup, a new thing going on. So I apologize for the mishap. Alright, so is your favorite site SUS friendly? It is 2024, and do you know which of your favorite sites are SDUS friendly? That's a big chunk, a majority of what we're talking about today. So before we get any further, I want to pop up the sponsor for today's episode, and for, I believe, the Bitcoin Network Shield Folio. Go ahead and scan that QR right there, or drop in through their, I think, Twitter or YouTube. I think they're all over the place. I do believe I've even seen them on the Walmart online. So go ahead and check them out, see what they got. These are stone books that basically allow you to, put your keys offline in a location, in a manner that you can handle. And these are stone pages. The pages are made of stone, makes it really difficult to tear or break or anything like that. They're also pretty much waterproof, such like that. It is a bunch of handy little features. I actually got one and did a review, so if you want to check that, it's on Odyssey, because it's, like I said, really insanely fun to use. And then we're going to go ahead and drop into the next part. Ooh, my bad. Everything jumping around. Yeah, thank you again, Shield Folio, for sponsoring today's episode. I am in the moment getting the chat plugged in. So if you're watching this from anywhere, you want to go to YouTube and find us 3D Changes Perspectives through the Bitcoin Live DB network. You can actually join into the conversation live. And hopefully we'll be able to get it displayed up on here for you all to see, so you can get those live coming in. And that did not edit that. Edit as HTML. Oh. There we go. And let me see. YouTube chat. That's it. That looks like it. It should be up and operational. Let's test it. Yo. Alright. Yep. Got it. So what we're talking about today is a very awesome special thing. It happened in a manner that we weren't expecting. Like, it just popped in, and there it was. So after seeing what happened to the YouTuber and real and infinite gamer video journalist SmashJT of SmashJT.com, I believe he goes by the handle SmashJT, which is why I say it like that, on most of his socials like Twitter. But not just him, but SmashJT and Grums and among other independent journalists have been publicly harassed on Twitter and YouTube and all over the place, even on like major brand websites. You're starting to see them pop in as articles. And yeah, I'm using air quotes here when I say that they're being harassed by gaming journalists um, about really these independent video journalists or these independent journalists about their honest reporting. And well, recently a handful of Kotaku-related individuals email spammed Wix to have SmashAT.com shut down, and it was only temporarily. But the more I looked into the situation, the more I realized, like, A, this is a type of digital attack, maybe not hacking, but definitely something similar like phishing. I'm calling it social denial service, or SDoS attack. And then B, Wix actually allows and promotes this behavior, or at least so it seems. And to be perfectly honest, like to be frank with you, a large portion of user-directed and user-delivered, or even user-derivative content-based websites allow this behavior. This is the rabbit hole we're about to go to, or you're about to listen to, and it is going to be fun. I hope you're ready. So, blah, 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 blah. Where is my thing? Boom! We just popped in. Alright. So, as you can see, we are actually on SmashJT.com right now. And throughout the whole episode, over on the side, you're going to see that little QR pop up. When that QR pops up, you can literally just scan it with your phone or some other device and join the conversation. Also, on YouTube, in the description, there should be links later on attached. So if we just look on SmashRT.com, we can see, right, he's got opinion pieces, modern audiences, you want to get it. It's about some of the changes done to Silent Hill 2. He's, right before that, he talked specifically about the Silent Hill 2 remake and his opinion on it. And you can see they're all very well. Some of these are just for entertainment purposes. Some of these are just hodgepodge informations put together. Some are straight up opinions. And he tells you everything that's going on. It's a pretty decent design. It's straightforward of what you want. This is kind of like what most people expect and want from a journalist website. They just want to see what's available, go down, and as you see, we can go different sets of news. So if you just want to check out certain types of things, totally possible. As you see, we're slowly moving over. Now, I'm going to go ahead and as we go on through today's episode, I'm going to drop some stuff down. So sometimes we won't be able to go back. So we're going to go to the next thing. So the very next thing I'm doing is I'm just looking on Twitter. We just did a Twitter search is all for right in here. We did Smash JT. We're going to do a couple different searches to kind of show you the stuff that comes up. So we're here on the top. And if we put up here Smash JT, put it beautifully with this whole representation, blah, blah, blah. So we see people talking about it. We see him talking about things. We see him talking about one of the things we're going to mention. And if we go to latest instead of top, what do we get? Sometimes it gets different results. As you can see here in Kotaku, 10,000 views, 0 likes. I think of one here. I make very critical takes on games. Smash AT, you're a bitch. So you can see there are people publicly attacking him, you know, in different ways, even down to their bio. So let's do a couple other searches. Grums was another. This is a person, one of the other people that's being attacked. You see very quickly we start seeing people are just talking vulgarly about him. If we go to top, though, so those were latest. So those are the most recent. If we go back to top, we'll see him and stuff. Like, he's his actual posts and such, and then people retweeting him. Okay, so we're going to do, again, just a couple more of these, because I am saying that, oh, it's one word. I'm saying that he was attacked when his site was taken down. He was social denial service. So we search here again. Top is going to be mostly him and like people like Grums and stuff like that, talking about people who were on Kotaku detected. This is what they were trying to get down, was Kotaku detected stuff. We see here people talking about Kotaku detected. Kotaku detected is more effective than Game Journal Pros, and the GG. It actually shows how far it really goes to limit journalists. Show the Kotaku Detective page views. I'm not a role model, but these degenerates have been defending Kotaku. It's used the Lord's name in vain, screeching about other morals. And he's talking about is those world you can add campaign, game, God, gain some morals. Well, I can't say a lot of those words. So we can see very quickly, if we keep going down, we're going to see more and more of him smash, so to speak. So, okay, let's see if this actually pops up. Damned my wife. I already, yeah, so this is one of the phrases, okay, we gotta very quickly gotta change up, because this is one of the phrases that one of the Kotaku people was using. Yeah, here, right here. This lady made shirts and all sorts of other things about the fact that she DM'd his wife. So let's go, I guess, go more, because I can't really search more into that before it gets me. So we're going to go right to the very next spot. That Park Place. This is actually, it's a different site than what I would normally go to. And this is actually where I had to use a lot of my proofs for, because basically while I was researching and preparing for this video, Smash JT's website was down for a portion of that time, so I couldn't just go to his proofs. I was going to use his videos and things like that, but this actually makes it a little bit easier on me, so we can hyper focus on that just a little bit. So, see if we can get this down. So, YouTuber SmashAT reports his website was featured. Kotaku detected page was shut down after a coordinated campaign was organized by Second Wind editor-in-chief Nick Calandra. So that's Nick Calandra there. That's who they're talking about. Nick Calandra is a YouTuber. And then we have here SmashAT. It says Jeff, aka SmashAT, via SmashAT from YouTube. Had a page on his site titled Kotaku Detected that he described as a comprehensive directory of individuals who have worked for Kotaku. And that's pretty much basically what it is. It's a website that has historically shown to care more. His entire website, SmashAT, has that's what they're saying. It's historically shown to care more about pushing active agenda. Well, I guess we're talking about Kotaku. My bad. I missed that middle part. Kotaku is a website historically shown to push activist agendas and errors. It's one of the DIA ones. It's one of the ones where like we'd rather push agendas. We'd rather push the current narrative. And even I think it was one of the ones they had people saying they couldn't even actually play games and stuff, testers and whatnot. So here we see Melissa Masente, one of the main people they're talking about. Also, we're making a list now, normal saying illegal behavior. So as captured by this person, this lady wrote an incomplete collation of YouTube videos about, person writing this article apparently, and creators that make them. I'm not watching these because I'm surely they would be. Okay, so it's a big list. Like this lady came up with this big old list, and then later that same day, SmashAT's video came out, which he did the Kotaku detected list, and she deleted this, and so everyone's going, oh, so so very quickly we're seeing it's a public attack that's being used against SmashAT. So here, the website seemingly was taken down on May 27th overnight, when attempts to SmashAT received following messages. Looks like the main web. So it was shut down for basically, you can see these Melissa Mercente, other people like, oops, website not detected. Huge shout out to Nick J. Cal, that's the guy we were talking about earlier, who reached out to Wix about this site constantly and followed up constantly. So the guy just berated them until they shut it down. Clearly they agree he was engaged in targeted harassment. Actually, it's not true. They just have an automated system that does that, and that's what we're going to look at later. So they're actually lying and using the narrative against Jeff from SmashAT. So it's definitely being used as an attack. This is a great precedent. I don't even know what they're talking about now. But basically, these people are, and then like this person um, shows, they got their friends backing them up, so they got more people probably involved than just the one guy. But the one guy definitely claims to make the whole thing. So Smash JT reported on YouTube. This is what Smash JT reported on YouTube. So he says, I woke up to the website being down, and I had people sharing screenshots of people on the other side basically dancing on the grave of SmashJT.com, laughing at how they were able to make a coordinated attack to take it down because they felt threatened by public information. Everything on there is public information. Being listed about journalists and people who work in the game industry and things they say and things that they said themselves. So this is public information about public people, about things these people individually said themselves. They didn't want to face the mirror. Okay. So what did they do? Instead of apologizing, they came forward. I shouldn't have said, blah, no, blah, blah, blah. They just went after him. And there's the actual, video, whatever. And here's Wix's thing. Response. This is what SmashJT got in response from Wix. Hello, your site was disabled due to privacy violation. According to our terms of use, you are not allowed to display information, names, family information, pictures of private individuals without their prior consent. Wix is obligated to remove it. Now, keep in mind, they end up, once they actually looked into it, because that's what they said they do, is they look into it, they put it back up, and I have actually reached out to Wix to try to get more information about this. So if you want to see what I reached out to them, because we're still waiting on responses, wait till the end. That will be the very end of today's episode. So again, make sure you come here, and we can just see him talking, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's all. So we're going to go to the next one. So here is the video where SmashJT is actually talking about. So if you want to come back and just watch this, by all means, please do. This will give you more insight on what's going on, blah, 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 things like that. I just wanted to give you the where the proof came from, where the info came from. So, like I said, a lot of the proofs going to be provided are in this video, but, because, again, Wix did, after they looked into it, did not see anything wrong with what was on here. Here it is again. Here is now Kotaku detected. So here is the page that some of the people on this list that did indeed attack SmashJT. So the reason I'm calling this an attack is because a social denial of service is similar to a DDoS, which is a different denial of service. So they're both denial of services attacks, and they're being forced upon another with malicious reason, intent, and to gain a persuasive advantage in a social setting or online, which I already showed they actually were using it. Some of the people on here, this person in particular, and a couple other people on here, were directly involved to use it as a narrative leverage online, to make someone look bad that they're just attacking. They even have articles against the SmashJT, and he's got reasonings down here, so you can look at everything. I'm just scrolling through while I read my little dialogue. Even if these are normally or only temporary takedowns, they are hidden issues in the social setting they are hidden issues. So, for example, if this keeps happening, then sites are more likely to ban the person who's being attacked. So if these people keep attacking the site, eventually the guy that runs the site might get banned from hosting here, from using this host. And then very quickly he could run out of hosting that he could pay someone to do, because he's not hosting this himself, he's paying someone to do it for him. And for a lot of YouTubers and stuff, that's really the easy way to go. And considering that his site's for giving proofs for his videos, I think that's not a bad thing. I think he's actually doing a pretty decent job. I think Wix, in this case, is the issue. And that's, again, to a bigger issue we're going to jump into. So if sites are, if they can, the sites and services can filter spam from, like as they state in their FAQs in terms of service, then, like for email spamming and DM spamming and things like that, then why can't they figure out a service for to prevent auto drop from spamming? And well, that's because auto drop function within the site or service may be required by some countries as of the pandemic of 2020, and we're going to get into a little bit of that too, of how some of the features that cause this might be forced upon some of these companies in ways that are either by like social means or governmental means. It's not entirely too sure. We're going to look at it, see if we can get a perspective. So Wix Payments account has been closed. Thank you, Broseph, for the comments. I see him coming in. Let me give you a little bit of hearts on there for those. So to protect the integrity of Wix Payments, we may choose to close an account that may be in breach of Wix Payments terms of services. Now keep and read that setup to protect the integrity of Wix Payments. To protect the integrity of Wix something, we may blank, basically close an account, blah, blah, blah. Should your Wix Payments account receive an excess number of fraudulent transactions, or if you are selling goods or services listed on prohibited products and lists, your account will be closed. So I can see some of that, like, this is an automated thing, right? This thing in red, obviously that's automated. Now that's my point, is they have ways to filter when you're getting excessive number of fake transactions or something like that. Now, for example, washing companies that are washing money, fraudulent transactions might be like, selling someone's credit card and using credit cards and stuff like that without their knowledge or consent. But it could also be like people making transactions and then it being canceled by the user a lot because maybe you're screwing people over is what the ideal behind that is. So, but they can filter other things, right? So why can't they filter these? Well, this is where it gets just more confusing. So what I'm saying is if the terminology and idealisms on this page are on this page, and you are paying them money for the service and they're still willing to do these things, where else are they willing to take these same terminologies and ideologies, or take the same ideologies and use them with different terminologies? So, yep, and that pretty much just explained how to shut someone's account down if you really look at it. So, what we're going to do though is we're going to show you the easiest way to get an account shut down. And I mean that because like the other one was pretty simple. This one is even easier. This is simply tweet. Just say, hey, closing my account. Hey, FYI, I closed my Wix account because it wasn't as... Okay, that's... Yeah, you're going to get propaganda BS every so often, but if you keep looking, well, we get worse things. I've just bought a ticket today. Money taken from my bank account, but no ticket appearing on my Ticketmaster account. Wait, that makes no sense. I shut down my Wix website and closed my account and told them why. If you stand Ukraine, it's... Yeah, here we go. I want this fake Fansly account to be closed. This account does not belong to me. This account opened my name, makes money from people, which makes videos. I want this account to be closed immediately. Gives no information. What? Okay. What Fansly account? This one right here. Hi, thanks for reaching out. We have a zero tolerance policy for malicious content and dedicated team to address complaints. Please report it. Okay, there it is. Yeah, we can't actually go back and look. And a lot of these, they're not Wayback Machine. They're not on the Wayback Machine. I've checked a bunch of them. A lot of them are not on the Wayback Machine. So no one bothered to document them before they were dropped, and I guess that was probably done on purpose. Um, and so yeah, this doesn't look good. Sure, like people are leaving for political reasons, blah blah, but look how easy it is to get that stuff shut down. Um, we'll take some more looks at that later, but let's go back to Wix because I mean, again, it might be the same idealism in different terminologies, right? So removing a domain in order to close your account. So while I was going through a bunch of these, I came across this problem over and over and over. People would be like, they'd be like randomly be like, "Hey, I'm getting charged for a ton of money out of nowhere, and I haven't had a a Wix account and blah 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 and things like that." And they were talking about like they shut their Wix account down for a long time, but they're being charged, or they shut it down last month and they'll be charged again this month. One of the reasons why that kept happening is because there was still a domain set in order. So let me show you what this means. So before you close your account, you need to make sure that there are no registered domains associated with the account. That is not possible to actually close a Wix account while it contains registered domains. You can transfer a domain away from your Wix account and turn off auto renewal. It says here or, but we'll see why you have it. I said and wait until the domain expires. So if you have, even if you transfer it out and turn off auto renew, you still have to wait for that domain to expire, which cancels your ownership of the domain. I'm sure I'm getting that a little bit confused. It's probably turn off auto renewal, then wait for it to expire. But the way it's set up is it could be both of those. It could be transfer your domain account and it still has to expire. So if you keep it going renewed, it's possible they could still charge you. And the reasons why I mention that is because if you choose to cancel your Wix domain subscription, turn off auto renewal. This is an important message from the team in the help center. In order to close your account, you must wait until the domain expires. You have turned off auto renewal first, and the domain is past the redemption period and is also no longer registered. Only then can you close your account. This process can take up to 80 days. We recommend setting a reminder in your calendar. So, that's pretty shit. That's really pretty shit. It's because of different legal reasons. I'm sure it has, with this one, it has to be governmental behind there. They can't close it because you have a domain attached to it. And having a domain attached to it, and then something happened, you could blame them, blah, 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 blah. So, I'm not going to get to all of the detail on why. Just want to point out that it is there. And not only is it there, we saw it somewhere else about dropping your payments, getting paid. You pay this company to host stuff so you can make money, and then they could still just not pay you, drop your payments. And then you could still have a hard time getting rid of your Wix account after they've done that. And then you could be charged for Wix accounts for years and years because you can actually search for it publicly and find it. It's hard as heck to find, but you can. So, we have this one. Wix abuse. Let me get you this highlight. So, abuse and rights infringement reporting. So, Wix is committed to preventing abuse and infringement of rights on its platform. Since the websites and domains are created or registered by individual users, however, we are unable to control the published content or the domain name. So they don't want, they're talking about like bad names and things like that, inappropriate names. You can report any inappropriate content published to a Wix website or domain registered by Wix. It's a Wix policy to investigate all reports of alleged abuse or infringements of rights. Choose the type of abuse you'd like to submit. Wow, this starting to sound like just a simple steps of how to do. Choose the type of abuse you'd like to report. Okay. Upon receipt of any such report, we will work on. Well, those are all the steps. Type of abuse, submit it. That's done. The process takes up to 3 business days, or normally 3 business days. And if we zoom out a little bit, if you've been phishing or spam, send a report. That makes sense. You might not have an account, right? And you're being phished or scammed by spam from Wix. I could get why you'd want to be able to do that without having an account. Copyright infringement. Makes sense why you'd want to be able to do that without having an account. Trademark infringement. Yeah, I guess that makes sense why you'd want me to report that without having an account. General abuse. No, I don't understand why you'd want me to report that if you don't have an account. Like, seriously, even if you're on a website being hosted by Wix where they allowed, like, say, Twitter was hosted on Wix, and you're being abused on that site, Twitter, hosted on Wix, you would go through the Twitter general abuse reporting, right? You wouldn't go through Wix abuse reporting. Well, I'm going to put out here as a note to anybody running a website, immediately take on this reporting system for phishing and spam, copyright, and trademark, where you can just immediately go in and just send a report in. And then you can have a system filter the spam out based on the next working day or something like that. Let them fill in an inbox, and then you can search through it and take care of unusual quantities of attention. But this general abuse, it should not be here. And this is, we're just going to click it. This is way easier than it should be. We just go directly to a contact us Wix bot, which, by the way, when I contacted Wix just for an inquiry, I had to go through a bunch of steps just to be able to get to somebody. It was an insane amount of work. And I'm still working on trying to get stuff from them. So here I can just click the type of abuse. Okay. I want to point out, I didn't even give them a website. They don't have any clue what I'm talking about, who I'm talking about, where I'm talking about. At this point, I have made a legal obligation of my information is correct, which it is correct. The information on the Wix website did hurt me because it's designed and built in a manner where they actually are are supporting attackers. Now you see he's actually looking for information. If I let this continue on, eventually he's going to go, where is this at? And then I'm going to give him a link. He should have asked for a link already. I just wanted to point to you, A, how easy that is, B, how messed up that is, C, how stupid that is, and D, it's a chat bot. It can be abused, and I do believe that is what was going on. You saw there, if I would have really just said words differently, said things differently, we could have started abusing that system. I was not logged in. I'm still not logged in. I'm on multiple VPNs. My location is well hidden in ways that Wix is probably like, we're not too sure which one of these 5 countries he may be located in. And that's my point, is like, me, a general use, VTuber can perform in little bits of like this, then imagine what a person who actually knows what they're doing can do. And this is way too easy. Way too easy. And again, let me give you that link. That's just wix.com/abuse. So, this is one I trend. I started just going through like a bunch of Wix message, like their tweets and stuff, and every so often I would find stuff like this. I want to inform you that there is an account that stole my name and image. This right here is almost word for word the things that you'll see, or in some combination of these words. I want to make the complaint to have it closed. Sometimes it just says, I want it closed, and they'll basically go, I want it closed. And very normally these get tons of, like, they'll immediately get a comment from Wix saying, hey, alright, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And this is one of the few ones I found that Wix does not respond to them. It's possible it got deleted some time ago and it's just not in public view. Because it is, it's only a year old. I was going to say, that's not one of the older ones. It's just a weird trend. So most likely this is a automated bot of some kind, or a real person. I'm not entirely too sure. But, well, here is the number one way to get Wix to respond. Pay $8, get verified. Wix, help, hello, I have my best friend who had a fake account in her name on your platform. It's not even him. He's not even complaining about his own damn site. Is it possible to have it deleted because it's really unbearable for me and for her, and I want it to be counted as permanently closed? Thank you for answering me. Here's the link. I think this guy gave a link. But that's all it took. It's gone. That's it. Paid $8 and he got someone shut down. It wasn't even his site. It's his friend's. He still had to go in and do the same report I did. He still had to go in and talk to that bot. He would just say, he probably would have given the bot this copy paste. They would have saw the link. They would have saw that, they probably would have saw that he was redirected from Twitter. And then, that's a verification point, basically. And then, so anybody with this copy paste, they change the link on the bottom. They use a Twitter redirect, and you have a better chance of getting to the system. And that is a process that can be automated. So yeah, again, just $8 and $8 to $20, and boom, you already shut people down on Wix. Hell yeah! Alright, so basically it comes down to this abuse and rights infringement abuse, rights and abuse policy. Yes. This is what it gets called rights TOS, but putting in abuse and rights boom, that gets you most of them. Well, basically, everywhere under the sun has a policy for this now. And at first, the most I could find was just like, oh, like Google was doing a big push in 2018 to 2019 privately in different things, but I couldn't find actual real proofs of that, just like people talking about it, because again, it was private. And then I think I saw it first time publicly really was in 2020. But if you want to learn something, find out the history. Alright, so let's go into history. Okay, here we go. Here is the abuse reporting format. I bet a lot of you didn't even know there was a format for this. There is a format for reporting abuse. Believe it or not, it's nothing new. A draft describing a standard format for feedback loop FBL reporting was posted by Yakov Shaftanovich in April of 2005 and evolved to the current RFC 5965 AOL, who pioneered, because it's made by AOL, who pioneered the field in 2003. Initially used a different format, and it converted this de facto standard in 2008. So we are back onto the FBL, but it's not called FBL anymore. Now it's ARF and MARF. Now MARF is the one I'm used to, where it's just a text return. While ARF sometimes would just be like binary API return. And so here's basically the whole purpose of it is to be able to report a few different things. Abuse, spam of some kind other than email abuse. Fraud indicates some kind of fraud or phishing. Virus reports a virus found in the original message. Other other types of abuse, any kind of feedback that doesn't fall into these field types, not spam. Any can be used to report an email message that was mistakenly marked as spam. So you can remove stuff from spam. And again, other and abuse probably, well, no, other probably mostly spam. So having a not spam feature, definitely spam stuff. A lot of people in there indicating this was a lot of spam. So, and every time there's a new spam indicator, you know, new inboxes can just automatically save, they can just drop it into spam and not have to worry. So that's why if you're wondering why a lot of your stuff gets dropped into spam, people have personally marked some of these vendors or domains, locations, blah, 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 or messages as spam, and your MARF or ARF is reporting that back, and so your system is automatically dropping it into spam. Because I know that's something a lot of people do complain about. Oh, messages I don't want spam just show up in spam automatically. Yeah, it does happen. Now let's go into spam reporting, because obviously it is slightly different for spam on its own. And you see spam reporting, more public, called abuse reporting. It's technically a different action, but if we go into email spam reporting, which is what we were kind of just looking at, abuse reports are sent by emails using the abuse reporting format, the ARF. That's current. Cool. So public reporting hub, there's domain-specific reporting hubs, a feedback loop subscriber, and then authentic domain system for the return, for the abuse POC for the IP address. So the abuse person of contact for the IP address of the last relay. Some skills required to properly locate such data. This is the default choice of a mailbox provider whose server had received the abuse message. So basically they just go, where did it come from? Mark that IP address. And annotate any relevant IP addresses therefore after we see. It's a part of the abuse thing, so this is really important. Because knowing where you're at is kind of how governments enact denial of services, or that's how things happen in real life, right? We're going to keep going. So I found this online harassment field manual. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this sounds like war. It sounds like war. Like, I'm not even 100% too sure why it sounds like this. But I then started reading a little bit more, and it started making a little bit more sense. So, this federal laws on and online harassment. Oh, at the U.S. federal level, there are laws that address online abuse, including stalking, interest, threats, harassment. So, U.S. federal laws apply to cyber crimes committed across the state lines using a channel of interstate communications, such as telephones or the internet. Like, for example, using the internet to severely harass or stalk someone, like we were watching people do to Smash 18 Grums. Making threats across state lines, like we saw people mention in their bios or on, about Smash AT, for example. Making harassment or threatening phone calls or sending harassing or threatening messages across state lines. Kind of like what Melissa Tante did to Smash AT's wife by DMing her on Facebook without permission and across a completely different platform where the initial problem started, or even where the secondary problem started, or even the third area of the problem started, or even the fourth. Actually, she brought that problem in. So none of them started there. She just brought that one in. And also kind of like how that guy attacked Wix with a bunch of stuff to get him to drop that site. So, but also computer hacking and identity theft. Cool. Deciding whether to report online abuse to the federal government and to local law enforcement can be confusing and intimidating. Even to people like me, it is very intimidating. And I say it like that because, obviously,
I'm probably more than other people. And a lot of people who got to report this kind of stuff, they don't feel like they actually know what they're talking about. I show up and I'm like, bro, I know what I'm talking about, and it shows. And so let's go into this a little bit more. So, this law specifically prohibits using the internet to severely harass or stalk someone, like we saw Melissa Sensei and a bunch of other people doing to Smash AT and Grums and some other people. This law prohibits threats across state lines, which we saw people doing that in their bio. This law prohibits making harassing and threatening phone calls and sending harassing, threatening messages across state lines. Now, the reason why we're saying it like that, I keep bringing this up for Smash AT, for example, is um, his his wife was contacted in a manner where the lady was trying to get his wife to leave her husband. So that is threatening to the marriage. I know that might be a little bit more difficult for some people to be like, I don't know if it's the same. But it is illegal to actually try to break up a family in America. So, yeah, that is technically a threat. So, we're going to keep going. I honestly, I really do think Smash T should report the dropping of his website to these people right here, the IC3. I believe he's in the USA, so this should be the correct place for him to report first. So, JT, if you're watching this, hear me out for a second. You have been harassed with proofs online for weeks, and other parties directly attacked your website for an online incentive to win an online harassment campaign against you. Often with harassment campaigns, they only stop when a major actor in the harassment campaign has incentive to stop, goes to jail, loses the ability to, arrange everything, like go online and such, or including just completely losing internet. So being reported to the actual people that can decide if it is something to look into is indeed the IC3.gov for the USA. Now, I do, because I understand that people all over the world actually watch this. I want to go ahead and give you these places for all over the world, because there might be someone else who's watching this who has been attacked in this manner, has gone to the SDOS, and is like, I need to know what to do, but I don't live in America. And, well, I thought about that for a minute, so here you go. Here's where you go to report this type of thing in the UK. I ain't done. Don't. Here's where you go to report this type of thing in India. And if you think I'm done there, I also found this one, which was the harder one to find, which I think there's a lot more people in this area that need it more than people realize. If you're in South Africa, here's where you go for this exact same type of crime. If you're been hit with an SDOS, a social denial of service, even temporarily, you should report it. Because if you want these people to stop, either you need to gain a lot of skills in hacking that are going to make you a criminal, or you need to just go ahead and report the criminal activities they already done. So, one of the reasons why I mentioned that is I was reading a bunch of these articles about, like, for example, how do you combat this type of problem? And it actually, they did say just contacting politicians, getting government involved, even if the government ends up going, we don't really give a shit, just contacting them about it tends to be the most amount of information you need to do to spook some of these, what they are calling in some of these articles, low end online criminal activity. Not criminals, online criminal activity. Low end meaning like anybody can do this type of activity, and because also it is something that's done quite often. So this this again, you see, it's 2020 published in Landslide, and it's been revised and stuff like that. So I just say we're gonna look into history, and when combating online infringement, it may not be directly to everything we're talking about. It definitely does show throughout here, like, what helped push more companies to auto-reporting systems. because like if you go through in here, it kind of explains how it works, why it's important, blah blah blah, the problems that you have with it, or people have with it, how to make a tailored approach, and it's basically ends up talking about using automation. Um, but I believe even in here they kind of talk about some of the problems with it, where, yeah, you have faceless, nameless infringers. You also have faceless, nameless people. Blah blah blah. Like, and all of this really seems like it just seems like something a little bit different. It kind of seems like a new version of the DMCA system. See, a lot of people don't realize that the DMCA was originally the way to automatically take down people's content from services. This only goes so far, and less places remove content for DMCA nowadays. For example, many places just put up content behind a permissions wall, so the links produced by that content are still valid. Just no one can see them. This is the de facto standard right now. This is essentially pausing the content, something Wix and other services should think about for when people are doing abuse things. Pause the content. Don't drop it. Just pause it. And that at least lets people know that there's a chance they're not the life hasn't been removed out from underneath them. And like I said, this is the facto standard right now with DMCAs. Pausing the content. The next thing that many do, instead of removing or dropping or even pausing content with DMCA takedowns, is if the creator of the took down material is like getting or was getting monetized, or getting a reward, so to speak, for that material, well, they just grant to the person DCAing, or the person who contact to have the content struck down. So this method allows the content to stay in normal view and everything, but payment from ads and such go to the DMCA or the person wanting it struck down. This is kind of like a middle ground between both parties. People who don't want that content to be abused gets paid for the abuse of the content. It's a bit weird, but it's like sometimes, especially if it's a low. Someone like me says someone took some of my content and did something with it, and they made a lot of money off of it. And I'm talking about my personal content, something that I personally own. Well, then I might want to DMCA that content just so I can get the reward off of it, or a portion of the reward, because you know what? I did a majority of that work, right? But it didn't, like I said, it only goes so far. Eventually people figured out that fair use could bypass DMCAs, and if you played the game just right, that was really possible. So here we have Heisenthal versus Klein. I probably said your name wrong. I don't really care. These are two YouTubers we're talking about here, Matt Heisenthal and Ethan Klein, as well as Hilla Klein. So here we go. This is just a breakdown. I wasn't gonna go through all that. Oh my gosh, just wanted to give it to you. That actually would have given you the full actual thing. This is a breakdown of what was going on. So plaintiff Matt is a filmmaker who created a video posted on YouTube, a short 5-minute skit about his character Bold Guy pursuing a woman. Defendants Ethan Klein and Hillier Klein created a 14-minute reaction video commenting on the plaintiff's video and posted it to YouTube. So in doing so, the defendant showed portions, about 3 minutes, of the plaintiff's video, and sent YouTube takedown. The other guy sent down takedown, have it removed. Defendants then sent a counter challenge, and then the plaintiff filed action for copyright infringement, which is why they eventually went to court. And the court, go down to it, the court found out fair use was found. So Ethan Klein didn't do anything wrong in this case, right? So that's the main point here. Fair use was found. Just realized I'm going a little bit over time. My bad. I'm so sorry. I didn't ask this time. I just going a little bit slower than I was expecting. Here is the Pew Research Center. So this is going to give you kind of like the state of online harassment. They're going to give you a lot of information here. So Pew Research Center survey of U.S. adults in September finds that 40% of Americans have personally experienced some form of online harassment. And this, this was in So this was taken during 2020. My thing says to just read the highlights. Um, so things that they consider to be 6 distinct behaviors: offensive name calling, okay, purposeful embarrassment. Okay, we saw Alyssa Mosente and them doing this first one. We see the second one with like people in the bio and various different things, making articles, calling them names, stuff like that, stalking them, watching everything they do on YouTube and stuff, um, making physical threats, which we saw in people's bios and such, harassing over a sustained period of time, which has been weeks. The only one that hasn't happened yet is sexual harassment. Um, Indeed, 20% of Americans overall represent, and I'm just talking about the whole Smash Your Teeth thing. And indeed, 20% of Americans overall, representing the half of those who have been harassed online, they say have been experienced online harassment because of their political view. This is a notable increase in from 3 years ago when 15% said the same thing. While these kinds of negative encounters may occur online, social media is by far the most common venue for it. Oh, that sounds familiar. A pattern consistent across the center's work over the years of the topic. The latest survey finds 7% of targets of online abuse, equaling 30% of overall Americans. Say the most experience was definitely online. So the latest survey, 75% of the targets of online abuse, which equals about 31% of all Americans overall, said that their recent experience was on social media of online abuse. Let's go to this little. They have a graph up here. Let's go here. Let's get you a picture of this. This kind of gives you information about it. We see physical threats to kind of give you like years, numbers of cases of, or something like that. Some kind of average or something. So physical threats, stalking. See, stalking kind of increased up there in 2020. Everything kind of increased, right? But offensive name calling definitely was always up there. Purposeful embarrassment was kind of always up there. Any online harassment is definitely up there. Severe online harassment and multiple behaviors at once, definitely also up there. So we see this sexual thing is probably the lowest out of all of here. And that might explain why we didn't really see it on this situation. But if anything, it shows that Smash UT being harassed isn't new and is more common than people realize. Another reason Smash UT should report the criminal ring of online thugs that, have been harassing him for weeks now. So we're going to go to a pre-search. And then when you go to here, you might have to, tell it to search again. Sometimes it comes up with a blank page, and you just have to click here and hit enter, and it does it again. So, if you just search my account got deleted for rights toss, you'll see people talking about just getting shut down. You see, I'm going to go to some of these. And this kind of gives you an idea of what's going on. So, this is going back onto the topic at hand. So look at what happens when we just search this phrase, right? That's that rights toss I was talking about earlier. And again, these are terms of services or forced agreements that are to become users or customers with these online services, and for these places to also be using our data for profit. This is definitely a type of attack thy customer, and it seems pretty dumb. When I looked this up, I found many people recommending individuals having themselves removed for some form of toss. Contact a lawyer. It constantly that I see in papers, they say contact a lawyer and report it to digital crime units, because digital denial of service to paying customers and data stolen for profit from those same users should be illegal. It really should be. And most likely, it already is illegal in your country depending on where you live. That's important to realize. It may already be illegal in where you're at. Yep. And you're not going to get nowhere there, sirs. So again, if your account was deleted on Instagram for violating terms of service, yeah, I'm going to Instagram, but still gives the same perspective, same concept. And we see down here, Instagram has the right to all of a suddenly suspend or delete your account without giving you a reason. Yes, people should report, blah, 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 blah. See, a lot of people in favor of this. We've seen people all mention the fact that it's just automated, being shut down. And it just shows you that this type of thing is common everywhere. But if you go through here, it definitely does say contacted them over and over is a bad ideal. Is it this one? Yeah, it depends on the reasons they give you. Stay calm. Like your account was removed due to a simple reason, most likely. Contact them once. Wait. Know how to do it yourself. Another option is contact an attorney. Depending on the state and applicable laws, after you file a complaint, you can also file a complaint for business negligence if they don't bring you back up or contact you back or anything like that after a certain amount of time, and then you can bring in local attorneys to do whatever needs to do after that. So one of our networks, one of the network's accounts that might be the account you're watching right now. I'm not sure, but their Twitter, they told us that they called it weaponizing network theory, which is a really good point to think about. How social denial of service is a weaponized network theory action, which is an attack. But we say action because it's, in theory, everything's an action, whether it's good or bad. It's still just an action. And this is going to give you this guy's video. I know it's London Real, but this guy actually kind of knows what he's talking about, so pay attention and listen to what he's saying. We're also going to go and refer back to this information that he highlights on. But I want to continue more on this network theory ideal. So what is network theory? You might be a little bit confused. Network theory is a part of graph theory, and it defines networks as a graph. So it's this little thing here we'll look at here in a second. So applications of network theory include logistics networks, World Wide Web, internet, gene regulation networks, metabolic networks, social networks, epidemiology networks, etc. So all forms of network types. So we can see here it's basically a bunch of little dots and edges, lines and dots, right? It's like graphing all over again. So these lines and dots, though, make images and can picture attacks, basically. So we want to basically point out that an edge case is like, see how it's pointing to a very far edge there. It's got vertex and an edge, and there's nothing connected. So that's an edge case, or the very top between those two vertexes would be an edge case. Also, that one vertex off to the left, way off to the side with the edge on it, that'd be an edge case, and this vertex over here on the right with nothing attached to it, also could be an edge case. So when you're looking at these, when you have an attack, though, the victim would be in like the middle of a bunch of edge rings. So there'd be a bunch of rings around the center. So imagine one of these is in the middle, and it's got rings going around it in different ways. So that's where we can actually point out that there are victim vertices or dots in a network, because the interactions will create these network graphs that just kind of show it. I'm sorry, I'm almost through the nick of it. Again, here's this guy's post again for the video. We're going to go over, he talks about a specific thing in this video. I don't want to go over the video or anything like that. I just want to give you the video, because we're going to talk about, he talks simply about some DARPA docs and stuff like that, and I think I have found those DARPA documents. So these are documentations from DARPA starting way back when, in 2005, I believe it was. They started giving out, 2013, my bad. They started giving out grants for types of research. The guy is talking about one of the research papers we're going to look at that I believe the guy's talking about, I believe came from this thing here. And it's simply about how social networking basically affects us in different ways. I'll have a map here in a little bit to also show you guys, so you guys can see the breakdown of everything. So this is, again, this is $5 million into human networking and human weather reporting, which is what's being used against us right now. Human weather reporting, which watch Homicidal Oregon for more information on that. That's an anime, by the way. So this one right here, Deep Agent, here's the actual PDF for it, and this is studying the dynamics of information spread and evolution in social networks. It says to just read the abstract. So this paper explains the design of social network analysis framework developed under DARPA's Social Sim program, with novel architecture that models human emotional, cognitive, and social factors. Our framework is both theory and data-driven and utilizes domain expertise. Our simulation efforts helps understanding how information flows and evolves in social media platforms. We focused on modeling 3 information domains: cryptocurrencies, cyber threats, software vulnerabilities, and for the 3 unintended social environments, as in GitHub, Reddit, and Twitter. We participated in the Social Sim DARPA Challenge in 2018, in which our model were subjected into an extensive performance evaluation in cumulative generalization, explanation, other forms of power use against it. The paper reports the main concepts and models designed and everything that they saw. And I want to point out that emerging online social networks, or OSNs, they will be known as OSNs from this point on. Okay. This came out in 2021. This took information from these research grants and was then applied in actual use in 2018, and it took from 2018 to 2021 to come, well, technically, 2018 to 2021 to come up with the research information, and a large portion of the data comes from 2003, which really had me go, whoa, government been looking at this all the way back in 2003? Yeah. The government's been looking into this stuff since before that. Here is the National Academy of Sciences in 2002 for a simple model of global cascades of random networks. Most likely, your U.S. government has known about this kind of problem since 2001, when the first Academy of Marketing and Science review on cellular anonymous, which is the type of network that we use in social media. Yeah, so let's keep going. Here is an article about weaponizing report systems. Yes, weaponizing the report systems. Yeah. I hate to be honest with you. This is such a, I want to say new, but to be honest, there are so many people looking at this article right now. I can't legally show it to you. I requested it for this show. This is the first article that I've requested for the show and not received it. All the other ones I've requested for the show I've received within 24 hours. This is the first one I didn't receive it. They wanted me to, they asked for me to pay for it. It's going to explain a lot of little information. If you want to actually come in and try to request one, maybe don't say that you're about to put this online in front of everybody's face for an easy way for them to view it. But the weaponized of platform governance, mass reporting, and algorithmic punishments in the creator economy. This is actually one of the direct articles I referenced when I contacted Wix. Yeah, and I no longer have allowance to view the rest of that. They're already blocking me out. But here is a citation. So, the weaponization of the platform governance, mass reporting, the algorithmic punishments of the creator economy. So, basically, there's a policy in internet for intent. And amid wider discussions of online harassment on social media platforms, recent research has turned to the experience of social media creators whose compulsory visibility renders them vulnerable to frequent attacks, ranging from persistent trolling and a much more insidious offline attacks of rage or violence. This study examines contemporary forms of harassment against social media creators known as mass reporting. So this really is specifically against individuals, like JT and like Smash JT was, attacked. So here we go. Here is weaponization of platform governance, mass reporting. Here's like how you can actually try to get more information from it. I'm just trying to give you guys all the options for you. You can see here you go. When you're here, you can actually purchase it for 48 hours. There are exclusions to what you're allowed to do with those things. I legally can't show it to you. So basically, this is still a very new being looked at thing. And we're turning on really flaky and brand new situations in perspective. It's only been about 4 years where people online corporations started complaining about people and formed a way to harass them in a way they wanted. A problem that the government, the U.S. government, first discovered in 2013 to 2015 with the DARPA research. And again, the DARPA research actually ended in 2015, according to my notes. And it's only gotten worse since then. So here is a paper on the digital governance, constitutional framework of research, and the agenda of research. So rapid expansion of digital technologies have paved the way for new forms of organizing. Facilitated by increased data and knowledge exchange between individuals and organizations. The paper highlights the critical role of digital governance in facilitating digital-enabled exchange relationships. We propose a typology of analog, argumented, and automated governance nodes which associated with specific control coordinates and incentive trust mechanisms. Trust mechanisms. I always say don't trust, verify. And this is a paper specifically about how to make these things better, and they want you to completely have trust. So for determining the optimal governance choice via interplay of transactivity, the contributors' connectivities, and consistency of exchange networks, and corresponding governance costs has got to be looked at. Our study advances the governance literature by defining that digital governance as a distinct form and outlining key governance mechanisms and choices in the digital era. So they're basically going to explain how these things should be working. There are reasons why we're looking at this. So digital exchanges such as platform-based transactions or social media, communities, bulletin boards, they occur in large networks with numerous simulations, interactions pushing analog governance mechanics and contacts and relationships above their normal. It would seem almost impossible to negotiate this stuff by hand. Makes sense. They give an example of an Amazon mechanical truck to be established a trust relationship for every Airbnb homestay. It'd be impossible to create a individual mechanical truck per every Airbnb homestay. True. There is an increasing reliance on digital governance, which leverages algorithmic protocols and automated control, coordination, incentives, and again, they're saying trust. I always say don't trust, and that's the problem here. The people that are building the systems want you all to trust their systems, and they keep putting those words in there. Similarly, artificial intelligence supported analysts can enable automatic checks on accounting data and raise red flags early, thus enhancing firm monitoring. We've seen since that started in 2018 all across the internet, like YouTube, it's only made things worse. But this company here in 2021 or whatever is saying, hey, no, we should do it. These technology solutions are important for the new age of the way things are being done. So they definitely think that all this should be here. These are the people pushing the governments to do what they're doing. So this is actually a medical journal, but it just kind of points out that even the medical journals are saying that artificial intelligence can be weaponized in a bad way. Imagine, you need to be aware of this. It doesn't say I need to read this. It just says that it says, well, what do we have here? This is as of July 2023. Many of these papers were released recently, but some have been in progress for as long as 2020, most at 2013. Go into the bibliographies to learn more. So here's a paper in 1977 about the moral argument with historical illustrations. Historical illustrations were wrong. And the moral argument was just using historical illustrations instead of new illustrations over and over is always going to be a problem. And that was in the late 70s. And you see a lot of this stuff, again, started in 2013. Started way back when. This is nothing new. It's definitely a problem. And 2007, one of the things mentioned is rethinking the just war tradition. So just war became AI war. And this is getting kind of creepy. So let's go on. Don't worry, here's the official paper of what you need to be aware of if you actually want to learn more. I don't have anything I don't really want to learn anything else in here except for the fact that some of this information goes all the way back to like 1900s. You guys think this is all new? Mm-mm. Anonymous stationary sentry guns, anonymous killer robots. Well, we've been seeing those come out. We now got the Boston robot dogs that have those. And China has them, by the way. And China has autonomous killer robot dogs. Autonomous drones and swarms. Yeah, this is scary. And that's kind of the point of what we're getting at. The stuff that happened to like SmashJT.com is a lot. It allowing that allows for a lot more problematic situations in your life. But here's another paper, in case you don't believe me, on algorithmic content moderation, the technical and political changes in the automation of platform governance. Again, they're talking about how everyone's moving to AI going to become platform governance. A couple of these actually mention the fact that it's problematic and problemsome, and it's only made things worse, but most of these make it sound like it's a good thing, and these are very big journalistic publications. Don't take my word for it. Here's the full PDF on the actual paper. This goes back from 2020. Make sure you get that again. Okay. Now you're probably wondering, what is this? Well, here is a Center for Strategic and International Studies about exactly digital governance and why you need to know about it. Why is it so important? And the historical parallel to governing individuals has always been forcing them to do what we want. So here is kind of the breakdown of what I'm really getting at, because I mean, we can go through a lot of this and it's not going to get you very far. We're going to read a lot of the same things over and over and over. Like, one of the things that's said here to do is read the abstract on this one. Governance pressure on major technology companies builds both firms and legislations of searching technical solutions to difficult platform governance puzzles. It's a puzzle because of hate speech and misinformation, automated hash mashing, and predictive model language tools. We define the algorithm market systems. The things that we all hate, they're defining in better terms to make them not actually more useful for us, but more useful against us. So let's get into the real thick of it. In 1998, DMCA came in, which said, hey, look, obviously, we can start shutting you down for stuff. In 2003, the Deep Agent paper came out, which explained how this was a problem and predicted what was happening right now. The DARPA OSS research came out in 2013, actually ended in 2015. And then the first free speech win case, and I say it like that, this is the first major free speech win case against the DMCA system, came out in 2017. So before this, the government's been using DMCA for a lot of things. A lot of governments have been using it for a lot of things to kind of basically digital governance. And then in 2018, 2020, the abuse policy started to appear in mass, which is now digital governance. And then 2020 to 2021, a ton of auto governance papers came out explaining to the governments exactly how to do them. And then in 2021 to current, they automated these policies against us. These are policies automated to attack customers, users, people paying for these systems. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for me. So I'm not just gonna leave you hanging. Let me explain a little bit. So when I first started looking into SmashJT, I didn't expect to end up looking at federal documents explaining not only this behavior would become a wanted by many online users before 2018, but then look at numerous research papers that warn the dangers of automated online governance, which does seem to cause increase in online harassment or general crime online. And that was one of the things I didn't really point out in one of the papers I didn't explain. way back here, this paper or this study actually does talk about how like they're noticing that as more digital governance becomes a thing, online harassment becomes a thing. Also, that's also correlated to in general in real life crime. It also increases online harassments. So, um, because and it's because they are still socially accepted right now, online harassment basically, and shutting people down automatically and things like that. So it's simply like there's no way to fight the crime at hand. Which today I did show you that's not true. I did show you it's to be understood as a possible threat to the general public and online government increase, but as well as the AI or algorithmic governance correlates to general crime, meaning the more general crime you have, the more AI and digital governance crime. The more general crime in the world, the more AI and digital governance will be used against us. But also, the more general crime in the world and the more digital governance there is, the more online harassment is shown to exist. Be honest, according to all the studies I've read, just dropping digital governance completely would reduce the amount of in real life crime and online harassment in a dramatic way. So, and if we go back to this kind of shows that everything we're talking about, this was described in 1948, and a lot of the manners we're seeing. And many of the politicians in office right now, most of them most likely had to read that book in school as required reading, which really means that they know the playbook better than all of us. You have to fight. You can't just be like, oh, it's over now, because it's never over until it's not possible, or you can't prevent it again. I mean, or you can prevent it again. Either go self-host, or the systems just don't do it the same way they used to. Again, I implore anyone who has been hit with social denial of service, or SDOS, to report to their Internet Crime Center of your national authority. Give proofs, or don't report it. And I say that again. Give proofs with the report, or don't report it, because a report should have proofs. And that is one of the original points of this video, was they have automated reporting to drop paying customers from a service, even if only temporary. But everyone else has to have proofs and wait and go through official channels to report these similar crimes. While families are wondering if they get paid, connections or otherwise slowly have problems, and the links just kind of die randomly, and you think there's an error in your programming. You waste tons of man hours wondering what happened. Just all that could have been prevented if your site just got paused instead. And, well, that's kind of messed up, man. It's really messed up. But if you made it this far, again, I'm sorry it took me this long, but if you made it this far, I did promise you something. I would show you what I sent. Now, you might have to screenshot and zoom in and look, but we're gonna... This is what I sent to Wix. It's the first one I want to show you. It says, hello, I'm Douglas3D, a disabled Swedish American developer, and independently look into... So basically, the first few sets of lines is basically the same. So I basically explain who I am, what I'm looking into, which I'm looking into potential service denial, service attacks carried out by Wix Hosting. The most recent being viewable of this from Wix is on smasht.com, which has been corrected by the beginning of this inquiry. This email response will be used for web show, blah, 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 and also a digital write-up, because I'm going to do a write-up about this and release it later on, which we'll do an episode about that. Because I'm seemingly nobody, I also explain myself, who I am. And then as of, now this one's a bit different for each one. This one for Wix, it basically says, as of 2020 and moreover in 2023, various research papers have been released describing how platform governments can be weaponized vis-a-vis mass reporting and algorithmic pushing punishments in the creator economy, which is that direct link. That's directly that one of the ones I'm talking about, which is in a very generic sense what social denial service actually is, or SDOS attack really is. And also simplified as in having Many people do something to trigger an algorithmic call that can cause pain, suffering, emotional discomfort, or even potentially financial harm to one or more parties. From various Wix online documentation appears Wix terms and services do. I basically say, hey, look, you guys have everything here that causes this. I'm asking for Wix official response on all of this, blah, blah, blah. And I say, if anything, just answer the questions below as a minimum aspect, and then I kind of go through how I'm explaining they are helping. Here's an excerpt from Wix, the abuse thing. It just gives the exact thing to do, how to submit. It's a two-step system. And I said that's the steps. I do see you have automated tools to assist this process, which I believe may have been abused with the SDSS on SmashAT.com. I believe someone used known chat AI interactions and bugs to allow multiple reports as if from different IPs or by a mask IP, which user changeable instead of going through the steps to obtain a new IP, which will allow him to do multiple different reportings of the same thing as different. Well, not even as different individuals, different places. So I asked, what is Wix's official response on dropping? Most likely we know what that's going to be. It's going to be what they sent to him. And that's just to see if they keep to the same point now that's after the fact. That's what I want to see. Does Wix acknowledge the possibility that there are various terms of services and similar agreements with paying customers have been abused in malicious attack to have SmashAT.com to put into review or consideration of abuse, which drops the site? Is Wix willing to looking into modifying or changing their policies to help prevent SCOS attacks? Is Wix aware of any other potential times that small or individual creators were dropped even temporarily because of mass reporting, like what was seen with the takedown of SmashAT.com? Is Wix willing to look through their historical records of events, logs, etc., to see if there may have been unfavorable denial of services to customers of theirs, even temporarily, that did not deserve the denial of service by Wix hosting? Really, that would show Wix that, if they actually did that, that would show Wix that I'm not lying. There's seriously something going on that they need to look into. And is Wix okay with being a part of a social denial of service attack that we saw in SmashAT.com? Why did Wix take on the policies that allow the social denial services attacks like the abuse section? Note, this question is asked because it's a chance Wix took on this policy because of people were social outraging online for this type of policy that big tech giants took on in 2019 to 2021. So if Wix's response to this question is social outrage online, then please state the platforms that this happened on. Did Wix, because I believe some social platforms were pushing it more than others, did Wix begin taking on automated policies that allow for social denial services attacks before or after October of 19? Because if my ideal thing that Google really was pushing things around this time frame before 2019, in between 2018 and 2019, then this would help show that it might have been true. When Wix's official date of including the abuse policy? That I would like to know. And just my curiosity. You can see is official. I'm going to go to the next one. This I'm contacted to This is to Jeff of SmashAT. Says hello, Jeff of SmashJT. It says who I am again. I'm looking into the attack that brought you down your website vis-a-vis Wix hosting, because I'm seemingly nobody. Pretty much the exact same thing. And then the part that's different, I mentioned the fact that my YouTube channel got taken down in a similar thing because of, like old videos. And I did mention that he doesn't have to respond back. I was just hoping he would. I would like to hear some specific questions. If you just would like to answer these. How many people do you think were directly involved in attacking your website? How many of the people that potentially is involved in attacking your site actually contacted you before this? How many times did these people contact you before the attack, if possible, how many per person? How many words used that are not buzzwords, catchphrases, memes in general, put downs, were used from these individuals contacting you in the involvement attack? And that's me just trying to get him to give me the emails, the actual things they sent him. Because I don't know if all of them were in the videos, but quite a few of them were. If you're willing to provide these proofs. were the messages getting more often or less often as it got closer to the time that your site got shut down? Did the amount of messages you were getting increase or decrease after your site got shut down? Now, what that would show is if it was a real attack, they should have increased the number of times he was getting them closer and closer to the time they got shut down. And either way, if they completely just stop or they just dramatically increase afterwards, that shows that it was an attack as well. For example, so say they weren't increasing or decreasing, there's no real show or proof of that. Then we go, okay, what's the amount of messages after it went down to increase or decrease? So then we can look at average between the two from the incident. Has any of the potential involved individuals contacted you after the site went down? And if so, in which order? Most likely the person who most likely to respond in order of power. The person who has the most power in the group will respond first, and then so on. So it shows you their hierarchy, so to speak. Can you put a number on the potential number of articles your website has in favor of the content it is about? How many articles about these things are positive of the things that they are about? And can you put a number on the potential number of articles your website had not in favor of the content it is about? How many articles were about things that were shown negatively in your articles? If you're unable to put a number on these, can you give a potential ratio of in favor to not in favor, which is really what I want. I just want the ratio. In what order did the individuals involved in taking your site down contact you? This is also needed to include the people that were on your list from the contest list, because there could also be some cross references that we haven't noticed yet between the two lists. Yes, I do believe there is a mole somewhere. Has anyone on the contest list removed any of their videos that you know of about anyone in the journalism or gaming sphere within the last 3 weeks before your site going down? Has anyone on the contest list removed any of their videos that you know of about anyone? I didn't want him looking in. I just was like wondering if he just knew offhand. I can go in and look, right? But I was wondering if you could also give me a copy of the list. And if you could provide any proofs, blah, blah, blah. Because again, at the time that I sent this email to him, his website wasn't up. So, and I told him I'm aware I spelt that one lady's name wrong and I didn't care. So don't. I also contacted someone who mentioned in comment that he was affected offhandedly. Hello, I saw your post about what happened on SmashRT's website. I'm doing a third-party look into this event, and I asked, and he said, sure. I just basically said, hey, can I ask questions? Here's what I asked. Thank you. Before I continue, any amount of information and proofs that you would like to offer is getting up to you and that you feel comfortable with disclosing. I did notice that you pointed out you are an independent game dev, but still, how has SmashJT's website helped you and any company or game that you may be involved with? Has JT done any article or video that has hurt you or any game or company that you may be involved with? How many articles has JT done that helped or hurt you that you are aware of? Did JT also do any video on any of your applying topics like he normally does? Did you ever point any links to SmashJT.com, like the reviews or anything like that? And if so, where at? I'm asking the question about the link directing because since it's been dropped here, are there any professional web links aired out? And if so, how many? Roundabout is an okay number. Overall, do you feel that SmashJT's website is helpful or hurtful for you? And can you please explain in a couple of short sentences at least of how his website or videos have helped or hurt you and any game company that you are involved with? And are you aware of if Kotaku did any... Basically, I asked the same thing. Did Kotaku do any articles that might have hurt or helped you? Are you aware if Kotaku did any articles that... Are you involved in the games that we're involved with? If so, did they help you? Was Kotaku's views in favor or against you or your game? Thank you again for your time, blah, blah, blah. He never responded to either. But I wanted to give you guys that information because it is what I sent in. And if they ever respond back when I do my update with about the write-up and everything, then we'll include it then. So, really appreciate everybody for showing up, coming in for a good time. Sorry I went over, brosive. I will do better next time. I'm working on how to figure out that timing mechanism a little bit better. It's my reading that is slowing me down.